This is the Rising Goddess Podcast, and I'm your host, Michelle Torrance. This is a space where when we start diving deep, we're talking spiritual, mental, and physical. We're getting real and connecting with ourselves and others in the most intimate ways. We'll be talking all things sacred sexual, relationship building, womb healing, connection, and connecting with and through our bodies, how to use our sexual and sensual energies to create, manifest, and heal our lives in our individual and collective ancient feminine lines, while intertwining our healing and connection with the divine masculine. We'll learn from amazing humans who take time and share their wisdom and sacred healing magic. Rising humans who are here in this world to be healers, teachers, guides, priestesses, warriors, shamans, and all divine sisters and brothers in rising. We'll get witchy, sassy, sexy, and saucy, talking all things that align us with our true nature and authentic selves, creating a community of divine feminine and masculine rising to be a massive part in this shift of world healing. So grab some green juice, light some cannabis, get your blankets, or sit by the fire. Let's rise up together. Catch you on the inside, dolls. Hello, my beautiful rising humans, and welcome to this next episode of Rising Goddess Radio. Today, we are going to have the conversation around the mother wound. And I have been doing so much research with the mother wound, and I have been working with healing the mother wound, helping other women heal and work through their mother wounds and heal that. And you know, the more that I continue to learn and help others, the more I realize how important it is for clarity on what is the mother wound, clarity on how it's affecting every single aspect of your life. And it's just important. And if you are familiar with the mother wound, if you work with others, if you work as a mother wound and help others heal, I'd love for your input and energy. It just helps contribute to the healing vibration that we are wanting for this. How did I come up with this episode today? I'm going to tell you. I have been, those are like 5 different sentence beginnings right there. I have been bypassing my own healing. I've had some personal mother wound habits and codependency habits start to come up, and I've been bypassing them. And so today was the day that my body kept responding and telling me, no more. We're no longer waiting. We're no longer bypassing. Today is the day. We are going to identify. We are going to heal. And so today, of course, meant that it was perfect to record this episode. So what is the mother wound? The mother wound is the pain of being a woman in a patriarchal culture. The pain of being a woman in the patriarchal culture, and it's passed down through the mother into the daughters. That's why it's a wound, and it's deep, it's ancient. This is a lot of deep pain and shame. And that's just it. The pain of being a woman in the patriarchal culture, which is what it is, right? The patriarchy, damn the man, all of that stuff. We're fighting it now. We're working through it, especially if we're working through really dismantling the patriarchy from within. That includes all aspects of the patriarchy, white supremacists, that includes feminism, and feminism includes everything that has to do with all of the expansion of humanity. And so there's a lot that's really starting to break and dismantle from within the patriarchy right now. People are awakening. They are becoming aware. They are becoming present, right? All of us as a human, we are all becoming more aware. We are all becoming more present into understanding what's going on. We're seeing things, we're feeling things, and we're allowing ourselves to feel things. And the reason why I feel this is we're allowing ourselves to feel now because we have these new generations coming through that are already more awakened at such a younger age, because they came through choosing to not listen to the same conditioned beliefs and ideas that were passed down for generation to keep women in a vibration of shame. Did you know that shame is the lowest vibration that we can hold as a human? Shame is the lowest vibrational pattern that we can hold. And so the mother wound is so big. It's so important. It's huge. This is something that is resonating. It vibrates throughout the entire earth. This isn't just select people. This is a collective thing. This is a collective wound. This is a collective healing that we are working on. And so that is what the mother wound is. And we usually we call it the mother wound because, of course, it's called that because it's passed down. It's for, the pain of being a woman in the patriarchal culture, and it's passed down from mother to daughter, right? Through the womb, which we'll get into, right? Why womb healing is so important. So it's through the mother. And this is where a lot of us, we come into this pain, right? We feel like we're not enough, right? We're not perfect enough. We're not, thin enough. We're not big enough. We're not curvy enough. We're not smart enough. We'll never live up to the expectations of our mothers. We'll never allow the acceptance of our mothers, or we'll never be accepted. There will always be some sort of conditioned love between there, and it's that feeling of that, and that's why there's so many struggles and issues with the mother wound. So many struggles and issues with women and their mothers. And this is why I'm doing this episode today. I started, like I said earlier, I started falling back into behavioral and patterns of the daughter in this mother wound. And it was time for me to stop bypassing it. And so, how does the mother wound affect us? It affects every single area of our lives. It affects every single area of our lives. When I asked in my ladies group, in my Rising Goddess group, which if you're not in, definitely head over to Facebook and request to join the Rising Goddess Facebook group. But I asked the goddesses in there, how was your relationship with your mother? And these were the main words that popped out with the answers and the responses that I got: controlling, manipulative, addict, competition, uses, female relationships, struggling, non-acceptance, selfish, distant, judgmental, buying love, conditional love. Those are just some of the main descriptive words on how women relationships with their mother was. And I'll tell you, I have words that are in that same one. And we're not alone in this. This is not a uncommon thing. Unfortunately, this is the common denominator. These are the common descriptive words when we describe relationships with our mothers. And this is why healing the mother wound is so important. And healing the mother wound starts with acceptance. And that's really where it is. I mean, when there's absence of your mother's acceptance, then there's absence of acceptance of self. And when there's absence of acceptance of self, then there's absence of acceptance of others. There's absence of acceptance for receiving and abundance and all of that stuff. There's an absence of acceptance, and we can't heal, we can't change, we can't grow, we can't expand, we can't do any of that if we don't start from a place of acceptance. And so this is why like I said, healing it is so important. The relationships, right? The relationships that we have with other women. Think about that. Think about your relationship with your mother. How you learned to have a relationship with a female is always through our relationship with our mother or the mother figure in our life, right? That's how we learn how to have a relationship with females. And same with men. That's how they learn to have relationships and how to treat women is by the mothers or the mother figures in their lives. And so if there's wounds there, if there's painful, deep, ancient wounds and this fear and this pain just by being a woman, all of this running through this undenying low vibrational shame that is just driving all of this, then of course, the way that we have relationships with other people is going to be extremely toxic. It's going to be extremely shameful and low vibration. And that is not why we're here. We're not here to be in those toxic relationships. Teal Swan, I mention Teal a lot. I talk about Teal a lot. I'm like super fangirl. It's goals having her on the show, so we're all going to vibrate at the level of her being here. But anyways, I digress. I'm all daydreaming about Teal being on the show. But she does a lot of relationship healing work. She has a lot of great things. So if you don't follow Teal Swan, I encourage you to follow her. But how else does this mother wound affect our lives, right? It affects the relationships we have with other women, right? We talked about the jealousy, the competition, the lack of allowing and accepting support from other women, and the not allowing yourself to support other women. By not allowing yourself to accept it or receive it, you're not supporting others as well. And one of the most transformative and magical experiences about being a woman is the connection, right? It's our coven, our community, our tribe, our, all of this, our sisterhood, right? It's that. And if we are constantly in this state of rejecting this, what is natural for us to have because of this wound that is continuing and conditioned inside of us that we can remove, that we can heal, that we can release, then, we're stopping ourselves from experiencing a life experience so far grander than what we're doing now. And as we heal this, the future generations, our daughters and their daughters and their daughters, it will have healing energy coming through. It will have shifted energy coming through. And this is how we start to raise the vibration of the world. This is how we start to heal. This is how the unity happens. It's not going to take a week and a half. This is something that is going to take time. It took ancient years and lots and lots of fucking time. Psychological time, right? Time and space time to get to this with all of this healing. But we're quantum beings, right? We can do quantum leaps and we can do quantum healing. I'm actually just reading a book. It's Quantum Healing by Deepak. That's funny that I said that, but it's, we can do quantum healing. And as we do these massive leaps and massive healings within ourselves, it runs through the collective. So this is really just, and it all ties in. It's so funny because, like I said, the more I continue to learn about it, the more I realize how much my work is all tied into all of this as well. Because, the mother wound comes through from the mother to daughter, right? That's through the womb. And if there is an absence of love, an absence of that acceptance, and it's through the womb, then there's womb healing that needs to take place. And there's a lot, going back into, right, child work and child healing is going back all the way back into the womb, being the fetus inside and actually growing as that baby and healing that energy and that vibration. Really visualizing and healing that energy is really one way to really do some quantum healing and leaps within your mother wound healing and your womb healing. There's so many amazing teachers out there. So if you are one of those amazing teachers on womb healing and connection and all that, definitely chime in and just share your energy with us. We love it. So I was talking to my friend the other day, and she was working through something personal, and it was really regarding support and allowing herself to be supported, and not just by women, but by anybody. And being supported by men also encompasses and is a part of this mother wound that is happening. Remember, what is that mother wound? That is the pain of being a woman through the patriarchal culture and society. This is the conditioned beliefs that we have around being women, and we have a low driving vibrational belief in shame for being a woman. And this is why this healing is so important, and it's happening faster and faster. You really start to see collective women rising through and coming together, and really rising up and really start to take back the power that is the womb, the power that is the woman, and not by removing or taking power away from a man. That's just it. That's where the fear comes in. That's why the woman has been squashed down and pushed down into the vibration of shame, because it's always been that fear of the loss of control, right? That toxicity running through, that they're going to take it, that lack, that darkness of it. But that's not it. It's not that competition. It's not the power and the rising and the independence of the woman and the power and the magnificence and the magic of her. It enhances the man. It enhances the masculine. It enhances the power and the prowess and the intense and harmonized vibration of the man. And we're starting to really come into that now. And so this is where as we're recognizing this and we're coming in and tapping into this is where a lot of these blocks and these wounds and these thoughts and these ideas and these beliefs come in, and they try to sabotage. And it ties in so much with your sexual energy and the sexuality that you have. I mean, we're always taught as women, it's always right. It's like, the guy, is going out and like he can, go out. It's a double standard, right? That's what I'm trying to get at with like dating or, all of these other things, and especially with our sexuality and especially with bras and, free the boobies. I mean, I've led a braless life for a year and a half now, and I wear bras sometimes because I just enjoy them when I feel like it, if I want a different look or something. But, it's this, I feel like I totally lost my thought, y'all. Isn't it funny how that happens? It's this support. It's this support from other people that allows us to rise up. That's where I was going with it. It's so funny. I know you guys have been listening long enough to know that sometimes I just ramble off and I'm just lost in thought and in vibration. And sometimes I try to think about it. And that's when shit goes to like, it's funny. I'll share with you. I actually recorded an episode before this, and I was recording a video to go into my Rising Goddess group with it. And the video it just didn't work. The camera stopped working. And so the whole video didn't happen. And as I was realizing, I was like, okay, retrograde. And then I realized that episode was not doing justice, and it was not what it was supposed to be. So retrograde fucked up my shit so that way I could actually get to this real episode and share with you. So I just thought I'd share that fun thing. I know it's like totally off topic, but whatevs. It's retrograde right now. I'm enjoying it. So let's get back, right? Our sexual energy. That's where I was going with this, right? That double standard. All these different tree branches. So the double standard, right? Our sexual energy, we're told that, we've got to dress a certain way. And if we don't dress a certain way, then we're called this, we're labeled that, we're labeled this, we're labeled that. There's the slut, you're a slut, you're a whore. I mean, all of these fucking things. And so we have a lot of shame around our sexual energy. We have a lot of shame around our sexuality. We have a lot of shame around the sensualness of our being. As women, as feminine, there is sensuality within that. That is the vibration. That is the distinction between masculine and feminine. And just to kind of throw this in, I'm also learning other ways and learning that maybe there's not even a difference between masculine and feminine, and that there is just one base vibrational energy. So that's a fun topic to talk about if you have anything on that. But for purposes of conversation right now, it's that sensuality, and it leads all back to, when we're told not to listen to our bodies, right? We're told, your body is lying to you, your body, don't listen to your body. It's going to do this, it's going to feel this way, but you're not allowed to listen. You think with your head, and that is so wrong. And so then we have shame around our bodies, right? So it's this perpetual cycle of shame that women that stay in with this mother wound. And so healing this is so, 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 so important. And the first way to start healing it is accepting that it's there, accepting that it's not only within you, within your ancient lines. Even if you have a fantastic relationship with your mother, it's there in other ways of your life through the collective. And so being able to identify, being able to accept, and then identify, and then start to release and heal, not only heals it from your ancient lines and up through your own children and your daughters and their daughters, but also through the collective. So what can you do to help heal it? How do you start to heal it? Well, the first thing is really coming to a place of acceptance. It's really that's where I have found in my own journey that acceptance of where you are at, acceptance of where your mother is at, acceptance of where everyone is at is really where you can start from a base. And acceptance and unconditional love, not acceptance with expectations or conditions or previous paradigm thoughts and beliefs and ideas from the past coming through and tainting the idea of what it is now. It's an acceptance of where everything is as it is. No judgment, no criticism, nothing. And when you can come to a place of acceptance that this is what's happening, then we can start to release our need for the attachment to the acceptance from others. It's the attachment to this acceptance that we have that is really this cycle that we continue to go in, this addiction that we hang on to, right? That fuels that codependency addiction. So releasing the attachment to acceptance is really how we can start to do this. So how do we do that? How do we release the attachment to acceptance? It's like kind of like a tough thing to kind of imagine, right? It's like, what do you mean, Michelle? How do you release attachment to acceptance? Well, first, it's going to be a process. Some of you may be farther along in the process than others. For me, I have been doing mother wound healing work for a very long time. I've been doing it for over 5 years. I've lived in this place before for so long with it, letting it rule me and dictate everything in my life. And so it's taken me a long time to get to the place of releasing attachment to acceptance. So where do we start? I started by forgiving my mother. I started by forgiving my mother for the experiences that we had, for how she raised me, for the way that she raised me that wasn't what I wanted to. And by forgiving my mother, I was able to see that she was only raising me based off of the conditioned beliefs through this pain and shame that was passed through her. She wasn't aware, she wasn't conscious to it. She was living this life and doing what she could do the best way that she knew how, based off of the ideas, beliefs, and conditions that were passed and bred into her. And so by forgiving her and releasing her conditions, by releasing her, and sometimes I think for people it's kind of hard, and sometimes it's even hard to explain. Like when you are forgiving and you're releasing people, you're releasing them, and that your need, not only for their acceptance, but your codependent vibration, right? Your need to find worthiness and self-love through them. And when you can forgive and you can release your mother from that way, then you can start to go even deeper, because there's still going to be layers. This mother wound, it's like an onion. I am an onion, if there's some King in the Hill fans out there. But there's layers, and you peel it. You peel that onion, and each time you go through it and you go through a different layer, you go a little bit deeper, then you can get to this point of understanding that it was actually the attachment to the acceptance and the acceptance itself. Because when you can accept something and then release that acceptance, then holy shit. I know it sounds crazy sometimes. Maybe to some of you it's like, what the fuck is she talking about? Why does she sound like this? Well, this is why. Listen to this episode a few more times. So what are some ways? What are some ways that you can start then to release and forgive, right? Your mother. Start to go ahead and write down some things. Write down experiences that you had with your mother. Write down the times that stick out with you. Write down the moments in your life where, you know what I'm talking about. You know those moments. Those moments where you felt hurt or abandoned, or rejected, or those moments where you felt, just all of these shameful, low vibrational experiences because of the relationship with your mother. And write it all down. Get it out. Allow yourself to just pour it out. Release it out of you. Cry, scream, hit, kick, stomp, dance, sway, release the energy, get it out. And then start the forgiving process. And the forgiveness process may take once, twice, 5, 10 times. Who knows? It could take as long as it needs to take, and as many times as you need to do it to truly forgive. Because remember, forgiveness is not for the other. Well, I'm going to stop right there. Forgiveness is for the other person. But you come at forgiveness because you're worthy of the forgiving energy for yourself. Your forgiveness, by forgiving you, you forgive the other person. By forgiving the other person, you forgive you. We are one. So forgiveness is for the collective. And it's, even deeper, deeper thoughts with Misha. Each time you forgive and release, that vibrational frequency ripples throughout the world. It hits all of us. And the forgiveness work and healing that you do in New York can be felt in California. And the forgiveness and work that you do in Alaska can be felt in Africa. And the forgiveness that you do in Asia can be, all these across the world, the globe. Because it's all vibration. And love is love. And everything that it encompasses. So forgiveness procedure, how do you do that, right? How do you forgive, Misha? I mean, like I got these things. And as you start to release the energy, right? The energy that's inside with these moments that have been down in there, right? That energy is released. You start to feel a little bit better and you have a little bit more clarity. And then you start to write down, I forgive you. I'm sorry. I love you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. I love you. And you forgive the experience. You forgive your mother for the moment in time that she was living the best that she could do. She didn't know what to do. She was in her moment of her life, of her fucked upness. And as you do that, you're saying, I forgive you to her. I forgive you to yourself. I'm sorry to her. I'm sorry to yourself. I love you to her. I love you to yourself. And that is how you can start the process. And then you can do whatever you wish with that paper. You can save it or you can burn it like I do. And as I burn it, I let the ashes go. I let them fly through. I let them release and go into the air. And I take a deep breath. And then I do self-care. But the mother wound is really, 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 really something to be aware of, to identify with and realize that every single small ounce of healing, is a massive impact on the collective. Massive impact. And as you do that, your small healing within yourself and that massive impact on the collective, then it reverberates back to you because you are part of the collective too. So it's like even more healing. So it may take time. It may take time for you depending on where you're at. But have grace for yourself. Have understanding and realize that you don't want everything to happen all in one day, and that's so much emotional labor and work when you are really doing the work. It is emotional labor, and you know when you're doing it, because that self-care is, it's such another level of care. It's all self-care when you're doing the healing. But the response, the physical response for your body, to support your body, which supported you through this healing. So those are some ways. What are some other fun ways? Walking through the store, right? You see some woman and she's looking all fly. You tell her, damn girl, you looking fly. You look so great. Your energy is vibrant. I feel you, girl. All of these things connect with other women from a place of compassion and understanding and knowing and realizing that each and every single woman is dealing with this mother wound in their own way. And that your energy and vibration of healing and reaching out and connecting with them sends massive spirals of healing throughout and helps them. Isn't it always so great? How do you feel, right? When someone comes up to you and they're like, oh, I love your hair. I love that bag. You're like, thank you. Right? It feels good. It feels even better when you get to be on the receiving end of somebody else's smile. So that's really what I have for you today. I hope that there is some benefit and value in this for you. I'd love to have a conversation about it. If you're not part of the Rising Goddess Facebook group, please come join us. I'll put that information. It's in the show notes. It's also on my Instagram. Make sure you come hit me on Instagram at the Rising Goddess _ at the Rising Goddess _ and in my link in my bio is my links for everything that you can come and check out. So definitely come over and follow me over on Instagram. Come and join the Rising Goddess Facebook group. Come over onto Michelle Torrance the Rising Goddess Facebook page, community page, and let's have a conversation about this. What is your relationship like with your mother? What is your relationship like with your mother? And how and where can you find compassion for your mother within your relationship based off understanding now, knowing that she was from the best place that she could be, whether or not she was an addict? And that's going to be another episode that I'm going to be doing, is addiction. But where can you find compassion? How can you find compassion? And if you can find compassion and realizing that unconscious led behavior, if you don't know, right, then you can't do. So I encourage you to go through that, and I'd love to hear some of your healing and what shifts in your life happened, and whether you were able to have a better connection and relationship with your own mother, or maybe shift in how you mothering your daughter. You know, one of the main great exercises is, and journal entries, that I could encourage you with is, how would you want to have been mothered? Right? How would you want to have been mothered? So, mother yourself the way that you would have wanted to be mothered. And by mothering yourself that way, you can really start to tap into certain feelings and vibrations, and maybe even some memories that popped through that you weren't even aware were there, and you can release and heal. And you can start to shift how you really start to mother your own children and daughter. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I would love to hear how this could shift in your life if you did some of these exercises. Some great ways to also incorporate your chakra work as well is really focusing on your root and sacral chakras through this. Balancing and healing your root chakra really allows yourself to set the foundation and the security within yourself, especially as you're healing this wound, and it's going to bring up things within your mother and foundation, security, and all of that, right? So working through and doing some root chakra work, that would be some meditation, clearing out your root chakra, doing some grounding, yoga postures, eating some foods that are within the red color, right, of the red chakra, your root chakra. So berries, cherries, red peppers, cinnamon, cayenne, essential oils, right, frankincense, jasper, same with crystals, right? So really start to do some exercises and grounding, and working with my clients, we do a lot with tarot, and we do some visualization and some healing work with the chakra, through visualization and really aligning up with it. So your root chakra and your sacral chakra, which of course is your sexual energy, your creation, your womb space. And so that is really making sure that you are harmonized within your sacral chakra, making sure that you are really tapping into the full potentiality of your creation, energy and magic is really, really important. And as you start to heal, you will notice that your sacral chakra will start to expand more. You will start to feel more clarity when it won't feel as junky and gunky. And you'll start to release a lot of the shame, which is also tied around your sexuality and your sexual energy. And so this is going to be so much healing. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a process, but fall in love with the process and enjoy the experience of shifting into the being that you are here to be. So once again, thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.